Namaste and welcome to our yoga practice. So this is a standing sequence that we're going to work through. And if you have a tennis ball, if you have one of these sort of little massage balls that you come across, or those spiky ones are a little bit firmer, this is an old tennis ball. So that could be a useful prop. Or if you don't have anything like that, a rolling pin, something that we can sort of stimulate the feet with. So if you haven't got that, go ahead and grab that. And then we're going to find our way up to standing. And just put your tennis ball to one side. So it's not important that you have a yoga mat or not, but there's a nice sort of surface for you to stand on. No, nothing that's going to slip, any rugs or anything like that. And to be near a wall space in case you need that. If you haven't got that sort of space or setup, then you can have a chair to one side. So let's just go ahead and stand, sort of finding our connection through the feet, sort of rocking a little bit onto the toes and the heels, so you get a good sense of the spread of the feet. Knees a little softer, shoulders relax. Let's just take a time to check in. So with all these practices of yoga, we always give ourselves time just to connect to the moment, whether we're lying down, whether we're seated on the floor, on a chair, or standing. So it gives you that opportunity just to notice where you are starting from. Again, as we observe, I always encourage you not to judge, not to worry about like or dislikes, or aches or pains or good or bad. It just is as it is. You're in this space here and now. What helps is maintain that focus. What helps us through the physical practice is the yogic breath. So I've been encouraging you in the whole series of these recordings to find that yogic breath. Breathing in and out through the nose, feeling that gentle expansion around the belly and the rib cage and the upper chest, and then the releasing in those spaces as you breathe out from the upper chest to the belly. And just feeling that space right from the navel to the collarbones. Inhaling, expanding up in all directions, exhaling, releasing down in all directions. I take one more breath like that. And then exhaling. And relax, just shake out the arms a little bit. And give the knees a little bounce without the feet leaving the earth. They sort of soft shaking out without actually going anywhere. Shrugging off any tension, any discomfort. And do this very gently, standing sideways so you have a visual. So I'm just sort of bouncing the knees, my arms are floppy and relaxed. And it can take any shape or form, this sort of shaking out. You could be more vigorous, you can have more movement if you want to. So I'm going to move in from one foot to the other. You can just keep it here in this floppy, shaking out. Some people like to move a little bit more, make sure you have space if you're going to spiral the body so you don't collide with anything. Now just gets the energy where you need it to be. So if you're feeling sluggish, brings the energy up. If you're feeling a little sort of scattered and your energy is all over the place, brings you into that connected, grounded space. A little bit more, loosening off. And if you've sat for a while, it's great. If you've just woken up, it's great. It's the end of the day, it's great. And just this shaking out. And it's simple as it needs to be, as gentle as it needs to be. Yeah. And start to just wind it down. So if you've been sort of quite vigorous, slowly, don't just stop suddenly, just slowly come back to that standing position known as Tadasana in Sanskrit, or the mountain pose. You'll feel that residue of sensation, of energy. Think of it as energy, the vibration of life. Yeah, lovely. Let's relax and to either use the wall or the chair. So you can hold on to it, so you haven't got to worry. It's not a balance. This is you want to get everything moving. And at any point, my advice is, do more if it's there, or stop, take a breather. You can stop the recording, or you can move on to the next aspect of the practice, or you can have a little sit down. So we're going to stand on one leg. That standing knee can be slightly soft, so there's no discomfort in the knee. And we're just going to start to take the other leg around in circles. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can front on so you can see. So I'm going out and then back in again. It's almost like my knee is traveling in a figure of 8 shape. Okay, so to make it a little easier, okay, so you can really isolate and focus on this movement and use the wall. So like the knee is taking a figure of 8. So you can see my leg is slightly soft. So I'm not sort of flicking the foot out. It's not from the foot, it's from the knee. Just one more of those, because as well as feeling it in the joint that's moving, you'll also notice the effort in the standing leg. Relax that out. And we'll change sides. So again, a little softness in the knee. Don't make it about the balance, make it about the movement. Think about the knee is generating the flow. Just getting everything sort of working. I'll do one more of those. And then relax, shake that out. You could build up with that. Really good for building strength. Okay, like with anything, when you're trying to increase strength, it's one step at a time. Then come back to that first side. And now you're just going to take the leg forward and brush the toes back. Brush the toes forward and back. That's it, lovely, good. So slowly forward and back. Let the knee flex a little bit. And just seeing how far how far forward the leg comes and how far back it goes. Forward and back. And keeping that little bit of strength through the belly. That one more time. Release. And again, you can feel it in the standing, the supporting legs. You're going to change sides and take your time. It could be a small range of movement, just as beneficial. Pointing the toes away as you take the leg back. Pointing the toes forward as the leg comes forward. And just exploring. And the more you take that leg back, the more you'll feel these hamstrings and glutes having to work for you, the lower back muscles. And then we'll relax, release. Shake that out, the legs a little bit. Let's have the feet about hip width apart, hands on the hips. And we'll just take a little hip circle, just to use those hip joints. So it's a lot of work to take a standing sequence. So I just encourage you to do what you can and fast forward through some of the movements until you get a little more familiar with everything. You can build up. If you're finding it comfortable or relatively easy, you just pause the recording and do a bit more. Okay, so use the recordings so that it works best for you each time you approach them. Okay, lovely. And then we'll come back to center and shake out the legs and the feet. So we're going to get a tennis ball or your massage ball. Be careful if you've got one of those spiky balls, they can be a little bit intense. So again, if you need the wall space, it's there for you. And you could, if you wanted to, sit on a chair and practice this way. Okay, but just for this recording, I'm going to stand. And then I want you to be very sensitive. The soles of the feet have, have a lot of connection through the whole of the body. So you could lean against the wall and you're going to gently sort of massage the sole of the foot, exploring the sole of the foot with a tennis ball, sort of finding all areas. So this can be a little easier if you don't worry about standing on one leg, you've got the wall space. And I want you to stay on this one side to start off with. I'm going to do this for about a minute, a little bit longer if possible. But again, just gently. So if you're standing, it can be a little more intense. You can put quite a bit of pressure. I want you to be careful of that so that you're not overstimulating and causing any discomfort in the feet. And it's helpful to practice this on a yoga mat because the ball stays a little more steadier. If you're on a wood floor, the ball is going to be a challenge. It's a little slip and slide, so just be mindful of that. And just keep an eye on the time for us, so we just have a few more seconds. Or maybe you notice areas where this feels really nice and the areas that might feel a little tender. So again, just exploring that with gentle curiosity. Now again, and relax. You can see the difference in my feet and feel the sort of the energy that's moved down there, the circulation, they're a little pinker, a little warmer. And let's try that on the other side. So again, the wall is there if you need it. So this sort of stimulating the feet, it's helpful for many reasons. But one is really helps us with our sort of the way that we connect to the earth. It'll help us with our sort of walking and our balance in general. So we feel a little steadier. It also can be very soothing, has a soothing effect all through the back line of the body. Lots of nerve endings. And the soles of the feet, again, it has to do with the lymph nodes as well. It helps with the draining and clearing of the system. And feet can often be neglected. Again, this is a great practice to do. You could be sitting in a chair, that's quite nice. Just to bring some energy and awareness into the feet. And so we have this sort of awareness in the feet, it's that strength as well. And with the strength comes the confidence. And not just physically, it's like the inner confidence, an energetic confidence of being. Just being comfortable in your own body. Just a few more seconds. Relax. Let's just pop that tennis ball to one side so that you don't trip over that. And again, come back to the feet. Keep using this mountain pose as our check-in or our reference point. I'm going to work into the feet and the legs a little bit more, but all the way into the shoulders as well. And do this simple heel lift and lower. Again, if you've got the chair or the wall, that's great. Going to inhale, check that the feet first are parallel with each other, toes spread. Use that in-breath to begin to lift the heels, and exhale, lower the heels. Not about how high, okay? Just go for comfort here. Inhale, lifting the heels. Exhale, lowering. Return and face you. You can continue with that, lifting the heels. The hands could be on the hips if you don't need the wall. And then lower the heels. You could work the arms, reach the arms up as you breathe in and lift the heels. Exhale, coordinate that, coming back down. Again, inhaling, lifting. Exhale, lowering. And again. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, lowering. Thinking about that yogic breath. Remember those slow, deep yogic breaths. One more time, but without strain. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then pause. Push out the hips. The feet a little. Walking on the spot. I'm going to sort of stimulate the backs of the legs a little bit more with a half forward fold. So I'm just coming a little bit closer back for you. So my feet are hip width apart. Knees can be a little bit soft. Hands are going to be on the hips or the fronts of the thighs. You're going to breathe in, lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, notice my knees are soft, my groins go back. My hands rest on my thighs. And I'm keeping the chest sort of parallel with the floor. If there's a little bit more room, you can always pop your hands on your shins and just think about that length. So knees could be really bent here if that's better, or you just stay a little bit higher. And if there's space in those legs, you can encourage the legs to lengthen. You can encourage the spine to do a little bit more. And just looking slightly forward, try and keep these shoulders nice and broad so they don't kind of drop in and then everything sort of rounds and collapses. You're active. We're trying to promote some spinal flexibility here. Engage the hips and the muscles wrapped around and associated with those hips. And using that strength now, we've stimulated the feet, so you should feel that connection with the earth. If it's better, put the hands on the shins. If it's easier, come up higher. Take one more breath. Again, really think about hugging navel up towards the spine here throughout. And when we come out, as you breathe out the next time, I want you to soften the knees, drop the chin towards the chest, and round up through that spine. Feel the legs working, coming up through the pelvis, through the whole length of the spine, and then the head will arrive in that upright position. Again, just pause, just so you can take a moment to reflect, going back into that mountain shape. Reminding yourself about that easy breath in and out. So practice a standing sequence that demands quite a bit of strength, although we're not moving quickly. Asks us to build on strength. Wonderful. Let's slowly shake out the hips, shake out the legs. If you like, take their feet a little wider than hip widths and just do a hip rotation one way. And then a hip rotation the opposite way. Good, lovely. We'll come back into our Tadasana mountain pose. And again, you can use the wall space if you like that support. I want to just work on a simple version of a shape known as Vriksasana, which is the tree shape or the tree pose. So let's do this together. So let's have feet close together, less hip width. Knees can be a little bit softer. You can have your hands on the hip or take your left hand to the wall space to have your left side of your body to the wall. I'd like you to bend your right knee a little bit. I'm doing this face on so you can see the shape that we're moving into. So that then the right thigh, the right knee and the shin bone turn out. So you're pivoting on the ball of the right foot till that right heel nestles on the inside of the left leg. So we've got this very soft shape of our tree. So that knee is only going to rotate out as far as is comfortable in the hips. So we don't want the hips to turn. And we're sort of imagine, even though the legs are doing different things, that they're squeezing in towards each other. So you feel the strength in the hips, the glutes, and these thigh muscles a little bit. So you can stand nice and tall. And you can take different arm positions in Vriksasana and different leg positions, but we'll stick with this leg position for now. So you could bring your palms together, thumbs at the heart center, or you could extend the arms up and have them wide or together. Get whatever feels most appropriate at this point. I'm just going to demonstrate with my hands down so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, and then there's that steady. Watch that left knee's not locked out. There's that cultivating sort of strength through the foundation of the foot. Wonderful. We'll take one more breath. And then let's exhale. Release the hands. Sweep that right side in. Reposition, realign the feet. Shake out the hips, the knees. Give the hips a little wiggle. And let's try that on the other side. So there's no rush. You could have your right hand at the wall for support. Think about standing nice and tall. The weight starting to move into that right side. So the left knee bends. Pivoting, turning it out so that hip joint is moving. The thigh bone in the hip joint, I should say, is working. And we're getting that little sort of rotation there. And the heel of that left foot sort of skims to the inside of the right leg. And the pelvis is staying as forward as it can. It's not turning with that left hip. You need to keep the hands on the hips as a reminder. Soften the supporting knee a little bit on that right side if you need to. Palms can come together. Thumbs at the heart space. Okay, if you prefer the expression of the arms extended. So whatever feels relevant to you. Yeah, thinking about the steadiness, hugging in, you feel that energetic strength rising up through the soles of the feet, all the way out the length of the spine, the crown of the head. There's those slow, steady, deep but comfortable breaths. Yogic breath that threads this sequence together, threads it together with our awareness of the body. Wonderful. As you exhale the next time, let's release. Letting the hands come down if they've been in an elevated position, turning that left leg in, replacing the feet. And that little jiggle, shake out, walking out on the spot. Yeah. And just coming into slightly wider position with the feet, so that it feels a little softer now, the stance. Just keep coming back, really aware of your connection with the ground, your stability. I'm going to give the legs a little rest. They're just going to hold us in position. And we're going to come up to the upper half of the body. So you could, by all means, sit down on a chair if you feel that you've been standing too long. Okay, and just build on this practice. So we're going to take the arms out so that they are horizontal with the earth. And then you're going to point your thumbs up towards the sky. So I've got my palms facing forward and thumbs up towards the sky. Okay. I'm going to change that so that the left palm is facing forward, but the right palm is facing behind and the thumb is down. Okay, so right thumb down, left thumb up. And then you're going to draw the shoulders together so that then you change that. So it's a spiraling rotation from fingertip to fingertip. Shoulders come together and then you roll and you roll. So however you can get that little sort of flow. So one palm forward, one palm back. And the thumbs will help you. They're the indicators. So I feel like my arms are coming in. Then I feel that change. I get a little bit more work. So it's not just sort of turning the arms. You're really feeling the whole rotation sort of trickle through fingertip, across the collarbones, and down the opposite arm. Let's do that one more time each side. And then relax, ease that out the shoulders with some nice, big, easy shoulder circles. A few times up and back, squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other as you do that. And then changing direction. Wonderful, good, lovely, relax. Let's take the left ear over to the left shoulder, just watching the neck if there's any neck issues. Notice the shoulders stay down. I'm not lifting the shoulder up. Just easing into the side of the neck, and then inhale, come up to center. We'll exhale the opposite way. Shoulders relax. And just relaxing those shoulder muscles we've been working with. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, release. Okay, ease out the legs. I'm going to do a little bit more for the legs now. We're going to find a lunge shape. I'm going to add a movement. So let me give you a visual just so you can see where we're going, and then you can set up your position. So it's going to have one leg forward and one leg back. Okay, so that's the front vision. Okay. So from the sides, and I'll tell you right and left when we get there. So as long a stride as is comfortable for you. But we're going to take this lunge with the heel lifted. So that enables you, if it's there in your legs and your body, to have a slightly longer lunge. And that front knee is bent. And we want the knee to stay above the ankle. So we don't want that kind of sharp knee going beyond the toes. Okay, so a smaller position will help you with that. And that back heel is lifted, toes looking forward. And it looks a little bit like this. So we're going to do this flowing movement where the arms come up as we breathe in. And as we exhale, we're going to twist to the leg that's in front. And then we inhale. And then we twist away from the leg that's in front. So that's where it's going. I'm going to turn and face you, and so you can see it from face on. So make sure you've got some space on your mat. You're going to take your right leg forward, and then you'll be able to see now what my legs are doing in this version. So look at my back foot. My toes are facing forward, but my heel is lifted. My right knee is bent, and it's in line with the right ankle back. And now you'll be able to see that rotation. So here we've got the legs in a different position. Think about hugging in a little bit so you feel the strength, the glutes, the feet are there with that connection to the earth. And let's add that little flowing twist. So it starts where we twist to the right and we'll twist to the left. So let's exhale, arms relax down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. So as you exhale, let's twist to the right so that right arm goes back behind you, the left arm comes forward. Really find that rotation as much as you can. And then inhale, come back to center as you raise the arms up. Exhale, let's open the twist to the left. So you've got to work to keep your balance. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, rotating. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, opening. So watching that front knee stay steady and stable. One more time. Inhale to the center. Exhale, rotate. Inhale to the center. Exhale. Good. Inhale to the center. And this time as you exhale, lower the arms down and step that left foot forward or the right foot back. And find Tadasana again. And just check the breath. If it's a heart rate starts to increase, just move back into these slow, steady, regulated yogic breaths. And just appreciate, the sensations in the body. I'm going to set that up for the opposite side. So let's take that left leg forward and the right leg back. Again, shorter stride will help me with balance. The back heel is lifted, just working a little bit more if that's available. And that front knee is bent. And we're trying to keep this front leg, both legs steady so they're not sort of wobbling from side to side as we go into the rotation. So these are your sort of foundation. Okay, so the upper half can move. So this time, remember, we'll rotate to the left and then the right. And we do it 3 times. So shoulders relax, get your steadiness. And as you inhale, let's lift the arms up. Exhale, twist to your left. So reaching back with the left hand, reaching forward with the right hand. Inhale, coming back through center. And we go the opposite way. Exhale. Keeping the pelvis as steady as it can be. Inhale, coming back to center. We've got 2 more of those. And then exhale. You can find a little more space to rotate into. And inhale. Going up. Exhale, that front knee stays bent throughout. Inhale, got 1 more round. Exhale, opening, so really reaching back and forward with the hands. Inhale, last time. And then exhale. Inhale, coming back to center. And then use the exhale to lower the arms, step the feet together. Give those legs a little shake out. Or just for a moment, come into a soft forward fold. So you can have your hands on your thighs, knees really bent. If you feel comfortable, you might take the forearms onto your thighs. You can see my knees are really bent. So I'm just lengthening out the lower back. And if it feels comfortable, if you're happy with your head lower than the heart, then you can let the crown of the head move down and come more into your version of a forward fold. But we're just releasing into those hips, hamstrings a little bit when we keep the knees bent. That's great, lovely. And let's keep the chin tucked in and uncurl. Using the breath, try not to hold the breath when we're moving in and out of shape. Try and breathe with it. And we're back in Tadasana, mountain pose. Stand and face you and just stand for a moment, checking in. With each layer, we're just feeling and noticing all the effects of the practice. Now let's shake out the legs. You're ready. And we'll just do a little movement to release the fronts of the thighs. And again, you could use the wall space for this. So it's the sort of starting point for a posture called Natarajasana, the dancer pose. I want you to be really mindful of how you get in and out of this shape so you're not twisting or torquing the knee joint. So generally, have a little look and I'll sort of explain why. So in this version, I encourage you to bring the thigh towards the chest, then reach down. So you sort of take your hand down the shin bone and hold onto the front of the foot, and then take the leg back so that you're not twisting the knees. If there's any knee issues, then that would be helpful. If you find that a little tricky in the knee, you can always hold onto your trousers, your leggings. If you've got a strap, you could use a strap. So let's come to the wall space if you need it. If not, you're doing this in the middle of the room. And you're going to stand on your left foot, so you have your left hand at the wall. So if you're in the middle of the room with me, that's great. Soften that left knee a little bit. Let's exhale, bring that right thigh in towards the chest. Slide the right hand down that right shin bone. And then take that leg back so that the knee is comfortable with that. We're trying to get those front thighs in line with each other. We're trying to keep the inner thighs as close together so that it's not winging out to the side. Okay, if you're in the middle of the room, don't watch the screen. Fix your focus on something that's not moving. And if it feels relatively comfortable here, you could have a go, if you're in the middle of the room, of holding that foot with both hands. And think about tailbone moving downwards. Got a little wobbly because I'm watching the screen. Okay. We'll do one more breath. Relax the toes, relax the breath. If your hand's at the wall, it's absolutely fine. And when you're ready to breathe out and let go, carefully just place the foot down. Don't let it sort of spring away. Just with purpose, reconnect it to the floor. Turn sideways so you can see the hand grip on the other side. So again, to stand on the right leg when you're ready, or turn to the right side of the wall. Think about bringing that left thigh in and up, sliding the hand down towards the ankle, taking that leg back with as little disturbance for that knee joint. And again, modify this if you need a strap. You can put the strap around the ankle. If you're holding the foot with both hands, you're just reaching and squeezing the shoulder blades towards each other. Nice tall spine. Steady breath in and out. You're ready to exhale. Let's think about placing the foot down, not letting it drop away. Finding Tadasana for a moment, just pausing before we make any other movement. And then we'll shake out the legs and do that little bouncing, or you can shake out one leg at a time. Or you could add those hip circles, or a combination of all of those. We're going to come back to center. I'm going to sort of bring all that energy into the center, right into this sort of this lower abdominal area, sort of known as the Agni fire, that sort of is said to burn away impurities and blockages, bring up energy so that energy can rise up through all the subtle layers of our system. Okay, but let's just see how the physical practice affects us. So in this shape, if you have a little look first, you're going to have the knees bent. I've got my feet sort of mat width, much wider than hips, and my hands on the thighs. And all we're going to encourage is, when we exhale, a real sense of hugging all the lower abdominal muscles and the navel up towards the spine. It's almost like the navel's going back to the spine and up. So it looks a little bit like this. So just watch first, please. So I would exhale, and I would exhale through the mouth for this practice. So exhale completely, as much as I can. And then as I finish that exhale, I draw sort of the pelvic floor up, navel towards the spine, and I get like the navel's flying up towards the heart, and I tuck the chin in a little bit. And then as soon as I need to breathe in, I soften all of that. I inhale through the nose, and I come up and out. So we're not holding the breath long. We're not working on deep retentions of the breath. It's just, it's a visit, barely there. It's the action of contracting in and up. So let's have a go at that together. We're going to do it 3 times, and I want you to take your time with this. So find this sort of soft stance, belly relaxed to start off with, and we take a breath in, and then let's exhale as much as you can. Really feel like you're letting go of all that exhalation through the mouth, and then draw the pelvic floor up, navel back towards the spine, and feel like it's being pulled up towards the heart. Hold it momentarily, and then as you're ready to breathe in, soften all of that, uncurling, standing up, letting the inhalation sort of flood into the system, and pause. And then just regulate the breath, easy breath in and out. Don't want you to feel dizzy. If you start to feel dizzy, I want you to stop the practice. And it's a practice that will evolve, okay, with time and with practice, and the body and the breath gets used to it. So we try that 2 more times if that's okay. So we come back into this sort of soft position, belly relaxed, and then you breathe in through the nose, exhale through the mouth. As you finish that exhale, feel everything being drawn in and up. Hold it, just barely, for a moment. As soon as you need to breathe in, uncurl, let go of all that effort around the belly. Easy breath in, easy breath out. And just letting everything settle. Again, if you feel you've done enough, I just want you to stand and focus on the breath in and out. To offer 1 more of these breaths. So let's come into that soft position. You're taking this 3rd and final round. Take a breath in through the nose. You feel everything expanding as you breathe in. On the exhale, letting go of that breath through the mouth, drawing all that energy in and up and squeezing the abdominal muscles in the process. The moment you need to breathe in, soften all that effort. Come up nice and slowly. Let everything settle. Using that easy breath in and out through the nose. Wonderful. Now I'm going to do 1 more little breath exercise. This is the lion breath, and we'll just do 1 of these. And so we're going to come into a similar position that we've just had. So just have a little look, and then we can work on this together. So in lion breath, again, we exhale through the mouth. But as we exhale, sort of gently letting all the air come out, the tongue will extend, and we make this sound. So as far out with the tongue as you can. And said to, again, cleansing and clearing impurities in the body. So let's come into this sort of soft squat position, hands on thighs, shoulders relaxed. And just do 1 of these, really good for throats and colds, etc. So we'll take a nice deep breath in. Relax the tongue, we're not drawing anything in or up, it's just soft. We come out, release, and then we'll shake out those legs. Deep practice. Now, when we work with these particular pranayama techniques, deep practice. Now we're going to finally come down and lie down, but I'm going to offer, if you have wall space, that we take legs up the wall. If you haven't got that kind of space, then we're going to use a chair. And I want to quickly show you both just to help you. So you can see my chair set. Move my bolsters. So to come to legs up the wall, which is a little tricky to see in my sort of screen setup, but I sit sideways on, and I get as close as I can to the wall as is comfortable. And as you lie down, you can spin the body round as you swing the legs up, and then you've got legs up the wall. And if the hamstrings or the muscles feel a little tight, you don't have to be flush against the wall. You can be a little bit further away. But it's easier to start sideways on than trying to shuffle closer. And then this is a great place just to let the legs recover, and the leg can be a little bit wider. But ideally we start in this vertical position so they can just enjoy that change, having held us and supported. And when we come out, you roll to one side really slowly, and then we come up, but I will guide you when we get there. The other option, if you're not there in legs up the wall, is do the same with a chair. My chair's got no back, so that's great. I can just put my calf muscles on there. Hope you can see, okay? Without my feet touching the back of the seat. If your chair has a back to it, then you might need to turn it sideways so your feet aren't pressing on anything and they can relax. So move back a little bit. So go ahead and decide if you've got space at a wall, and go to the wall. Grab a chair. And you can see a bit better now. So same kind of thing, I'm almost sideways on. And again, you just have to find the right chair for you. If it's a really high seat and you're not very full, then you might feel it's lifting your lower back off the floor. So you might need something a little bit lower, or you put a blanket underneath the pelvis. But let's go ahead now and just find this. Or over a sofa is great, or your chair if you're sweet, or your bed if it's not too high. It can be really nice just to let the whole body recover. So I'd like you to stay there. I'm going to come up and out and then just guide you through a little simple relaxation. So your legs are at the wall, over the chair, just letting the energy relax and the body relax. And just really aware of the effects of the practice to do a solid sequence of standing movements and noticing the effects of that. So now there's more support for the whole of the body. You've got the floor for the spine and the head and the pelvis, the wall or the chair for the legs. So you can really start to soften and relax and let go of the effort. And you can feel then the residue of sensation, like effects within the practice. And if the mind's starting to wander already, and coming back into the flow of the breath. So think about that easy breath in, easy breath out. If you've got room, you could send the arms out to the side if that feels comfortable, or even all the way overhead, or in sort of a soft bent arm position, so that you have a little more sense of the breath right from the diaphragm up to the collarbone. Whole space for the yogic breath. All these practices have been about helping, or will it help improve posture, help us feel a little more grounded. They can energize us, they can help release tension, give some spinal mobility and flexibility and strength. Helps with our balance, relieves back and shoulder tension. So we've worked a big area. And we've stimulated that sort of digestive area, that core space with those pranayama practices. And all the way into the head with the simhasana, the lion's breath, sort of clearing and cleansing the nasal cavity, as well as the throat, and the tongue and the jaw. So hopefully giving some release of any tension, any aches or pains. I'm just going to take a couple more breaths in this inverted position, and there's always that opportunity for you to pause the recording and stay a little longer if that feels beneficial. And the guidelines, if you're staying a little longer, is if the moment you get pins and needles in the toes, is it's time to come out. But generally you could be there for 10, 15 minutes if that's comfortable. So whether you're at the wall or over the chair or the sofa, whatever you've used, let's bend the knees and slowly bring the thighs towards the chest, just holding on to the shins or the backs of the thighs. Make a little wiggle of the pelvis, big micro movements. And be mindful of your space. So if you've used a chair, and be careful, you're to roll over to one side. And if you're at the wall again, just roll over to one side. Pause there, maybe prop your head up with your hand. And then when you feel ready, let's just come up to a seated position. If you're comfortable sitting cross-legged, go ahead. If not, adapt your shape accordingly or sit in your chair. Now we're a little more grounded with our root of our spine. And feeling that energy center connected to the earth. Feel the length through the spine. Legs can relax now. You can close the eyes or soften the gaze just to notice, to think about how you felt at the beginning of the practice. Yeah, without judgment of being good or bad at these things, that it just is. We practice what we practice the best way that we can at that time. Now I'm going to invite you to set up for Shavasana, and I'm giving you some guidelines so that when I stop the recording, it gives you the flexibility to stay as long as you like in relaxation. So there's no rush for you to come out. So there's a few sort of suggestions so that you can really reap the benefits of relaxation. Always advise at least 5 minutes if possible. So it may mean that you do your Shavasana in bed. It's absolutely fine, or on your sofa. If you're lying on the floor, gather a few props so that you're warm and comfortable. So I always suggest a cushion or a blanket for the back of the head, so there's a softness around the skull. And then you could have a blanket to cover the whole body with. I would possibly turn the lights off if that's viable. If you have an eye pillow or a scarf, I would have that over my eyes. And I often suggest if you resonate with a particular type of music, you could put some soothing music on, nothing too sort of vibrant, but something that resonates with you. And then you could set a timer for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Or if you feel you need longer, then use that. Taking yourself to bed and resting is great. So go ahead and gather what you need for that. And come to lie down in your position of relaxation, setting everything up. And taking a little time when you do lie down to wiggle out, stretch out, ease the body. So you know, comfort is key. As comfortable as you can be. There's enough support around the head. Enough support so the back's comfortable. You might like the legs bent rather than straight if you're on the floor. And remember, when you finish your Shavasana, that you take your time. But you've got plenty of time to decide how long it's going to be. But you take your time when you come out. Spare a little time just sort of gathering your thoughts and feelings. So I'll close our session together and I'll leave you to enjoy as long or as deep a relaxation as your body needs. I'd like to say Om Shanti, 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 and thank you, and enjoy your relaxation.